Good morning and welcome back to Miniature Monday here on Gaming with ADHD, where today we're going to be taking a look at the Stedi Ultimate Model Nippers. Now, these are a new pair of clippers that I got for cutting apart all of those plastic models that you've been seeing in the ADHD builds shorts. And this was a different experience. This is not something that I was quite prepared for, and so I wanted to talk about it. Let you know why I purchased this. I'll tell you straight up front, I am extremely happy with this. So, first off, I do have to give a shout out to Louise over at Rogue Hobbies. I was watching one of her videos about different tools and things that she uses, and she recommended this. She has talked before. She got into building Gundam models and purchased what she called a god tier level pair of clippers. And I kind of thought about it and I'm like, okay, whatever. And I just kind of put it in the back of my mind. But then watching this video, she mentioned that a bunch of people told her not to use that on Games Workshop plastic because it's generally too thick and she's going to risk breaking them. So she linked to another pair that's a little bit more durable and better for use. And so I put it into the cart on Amazon and just kind of sat there for a little bit. I will admit, in general, I am cheap as far as all of this is concerned. Clippers and razor blades and all that kind of stuff. You know, to me, there's usually not that big of a difference that it's worth spending a whole lot of money on it. It's tools generally, you know, like clippers, things like that. They're not going to get very heavy duty use. So usually I'm fine with just going with whatever the budget option is. Um, and I think Louise convinced me to completely change my mind, at least as far as these clippers are concerned. So, let's see. All right, let's go ahead and flip over to the top-down camera. All right, so this, I'm going to start out with this. This is a pair of clippers from Games Workshop from their Citadel line. They're fine. I got these as part of the Combat Patrol magazine subscription that I've been doing for the last few months. They have worked perfectly fine. They are reasonably accessible. The spring is sort of coming apart here down at the bottom. They're notched, so they're supposed to be together, but it is no longer lining up. So that's kind of there. They're not the greatest quality. They were included as a free gift. Fine. But just to kind of show these off, let's focus this a little better. All right, basically they are, each side is more or less the same size. You can tell it's very thick. It has a very, you know, like steep angle on the actual cutting surface. And I have noticed as I clip stuff, now right here, this is the, what was it? I know, I had all of this open. All right, this is a Von Grimm Harpoon Crew of the Caradron Overlords from Age of Sigmar. This was the free miniature of the month for September. Anyways, I'm using this because my son and I went over and we got the free miniature, and so we can use it to show off the difference. So one thing when using these, it feels a lot more tense going in to the cut, But then also on each of the connection points, you can see kind of that rough spot where you're going to have to do quite a bit of cleanup because it's sort of rough. Anyways, not bad. So there's our piece. Now, these are the clippers that I purchased more recently. Now, these will run you around $30, somewhere between $30, $35. That should be fine. But you'll notice, first off, the two clipper points are different. You've got a thicker one over here on the right, and then you've got a much thinner one. It is still angled, but it's angled very, very shallowly over here on this side. It actually has, a regular spring. They give you a hex wrench saying you're supposed to be able to adjust this little nut. Basically, it's to keep these your clippers from closing too much and damaging them. I didn't know that I would like that so much, but I do. Anyways, so overall, they are super, super clean. Now, this is where it gets nuts. So, coming in, we're cutting off the same part. First off, there is almost no resistance. I'm not sure if that's 100% because they're relatively new or just the way that these are built. But the plastic almost cannot resist these clippers. So after cutting, like you can sort of see, and there's a little bit of plastic left over, but already it's much cleaner in all of the spaces where we clipped the plastic. We've got a little bit extra right here because we couldn't get quite close enough. But when we put them next to each other, you can see that this is a much rougher cut than this one is. Honestly, it doesn't seem like a lot, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's going to I've already seen it reducing how much cleanup I have to do on models after cutting them out, and it's way, way easier to use. Now, I am going to show this off a little bit, just because I kind of like how they deliver it to you. So you get this little box, comes foam lined, you get an extra spring. Here's that hex wrench. Like I said, it's supposed to adjust this hex nut, but oh, haha, it does fit. I stand corrected. When I was playing with it earlier, I didn't realize how far down the actual hex is. So it was just kind of spinning loosely. All right. My apologies. Anyways, but they give you foam lined. If you're going to be putting this in like a tool case, they give you a little, cover for it. I have left this in the box because the nice thing about these being made out of steel, I have some magnets on my board in front of me, and I just magnetize my clippers to it. So that's my option. But they do give you some tools to help keep it up. So overall, I absolutely 100% recommend these. Thank you again to Louise for recommending them. And absolutely 100% happy with it. They are nice. They're clean. They feel smooth. I'm I'm almost ashamed that I have kept using all of the cheap clippers that I've gotten with 3D printers, or just, the cheap ones that you can get at the store, like Hobby Lobby or whatever. Absolutely annoyed that I've been using the cheap tools, or the cheap clippers for as long as I have, because these are absolutely fantastic. So, if you are interested in a pair for yourself, I will have a link down in the description. It's to Amazon. It's an affiliate link. I do get a little bit of credit if you use it, or you can just go to Amazon yourself, and find it that way. So, like I said, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, please do give it a thumbs up. Otherwise, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Try to put out a few videos each week covering all sorts of tabletop gaming content. And I'd love for you to come along, see what we have to share. So, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.